Good afternoon, I'm Jack Horchar. I'm here with a new edition of Keen Talk. We are with the Communities That Care East of Broad Street organization through Representative Curtis Thomas' office down at the library at 60 Girard. Today's talk is going to be on entrepreneurial thinking. We'll go around and introduce ourselves real quick. Again, I'm Jack Horchar. I work with the Life Leadership Organization.
I'm Ty Coles, founder of Point of Light Motivations as a motivational speaker.
My name is Janet Collins, and I attend the Yes Philly.
My name is Ronnie Philpott, and I attend Yes Philly.
My name is Michelle Lassiter, and I attend Yes Philly.
My name is Jeremiah Goldwire, and I attend Yes Philly.
My name is Mara Smith, and I attend Yes Philly too.
And my name is Mark Beckham, co-founder of Alpha Boy Music and entertainment manager.
We've got a group of young teenagers here that all have entrepreneurial ideas, business ideas of their own. 5 from Yes Philly, and Mark is
You can say
in and
Temple.
out of Temple,
Yeah.
working on your business in between.
Working on business
So,
management.
What, to start here, like, what is the idea that you're looking for?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
Hopefully go to college or go to the NBA. Probably get let the Nikes deal, something like that on sneakers.
What is your sport that you're playing?
Basketball or football, like both.
Well, entrepreneurial thinking is getting something going and having that vision and driving that vision to success. So, sports is a big one. Go around, go ahead.
Alright, my career goal is I have currently been doing boxing for about 7 to 8 months, and I like it. But before that, I was doing something with music, and I wanted to have my own little studio. Like, I got a microphone and my friends a laptop, and usually we make songs and stuff. But I'm trying to get my own studio going on, and have boxing on the side thing, and probably have a studio and a boxing gym and something like that. Trying to mix it both together.
Boxing to rhythms. That could be good. There you go. Put it
That's
all
a name,
together.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
the intersection of two things. That's a whole other thing we can get into. But how about you?
My idea was like a family business. Like, I love to cook, so I want to build a foundation that I can pass on to my kids and their kids, and it just keep it alive and move to different cities.
Move your business to different cities?
Yeah, like New Jersey, New York, probably Miami, franchise, think
let's say
big.
franchise it out.
Franchise. There you go. That's a big thing in this book, The E-Myth. They talk about turnkey operations where you develop a system that people can duplicate and then be the next Ray Kroc of McDonald's.
Yeah.
It'd be a good thing. 300,000 shops across the world.
No, more like a restaurant, not
Okay.
McDonald's. Not a
No, just the concept. The concept of a system that's duplicatable. That's good. How about you?
Well, I really want to work with juveniles. I understand, I want to start off working in a program, but in the long term, I want to build my own program, to work with juvenile delinquents, because everybody, they give out the motivational speeches, try to help them to do better. But I feel as though you need somebody that's been through that experience to really speak to them.
Are you involved with programs now?
Currently, no. Currently, I make T-shirts. Make
Okay.
T-shirts.
All right, good. We can talk more about that in a second. How about you?
Well, I would like to open my own business. I wanted to be a variety shop, doing hair and a daycare center, different stuff, and selling my artwork throughout the shop and being all over the shop. That's what I always thought of because I love working with kids and I like doing hair. So I'm like, why not just open a business with a hair salon, with a child care center too? Because not everybody have a babysitter that's sending kids to when they getting their hair done and all that stuff. So why not?
Forward thinking. Yeah, and like I said, me and my friend a couple years back, we were from the neighborhood around here, close to 6th and Girard, near the library. And we pretty much started our entrepreneurship by just sitting there thinking about how to make money. So I could say pretty much through the fad of rap in Philadelphia and pretty much all hip hop, we pretty much got to the point of him being a rapper and I was going to school for business. So to speed that up a little bit more was the aspect of just understanding that we can make money from having a copywriting of our own work and then selling it to outside sources outside of Philadelphia. So just the fact that in Philadelphia, everybody loves the rapper or the poet, and it's like the creative nature of just like, no, you have to write your own work. That doesn't mean that somebody doesn't like the work that you're putting out. So it's something where I learned that if I can copyright my work, I can sell an entire song to somebody in Wisconsin, possibly $50 to $250. So small concepts like that, personally understood, I can make my own money to invest in the business. Long term with that, we made about $10,000 in less than 1 year with Alpha Boy Music from just about a $2,000 to $3,000 investment. From that $7,000 to $8,000, we went to create our own studio down in Kensington. And it was one of those things that I tell people, discipline is one of the main things I can tell people how I pretty much got started. And I'm really one of them dudes that I didn't want to rap because, like I said, rap was the thing to do. So I just tell people steps, like you got to think about what type of steps you want to take to get to your actual goal. So it's one of those type of businesses for me. So it's like staying focused and understanding what your long-term goal is and just understanding that only you can make your own dream come true. And I don't care what it is. It's like once you get out of high school, some people don't get the opportunity to go to college. They lose, fall out, try to figure out a job, but then you may not like your job and you see your friends still going to school. So I tell people those type of thoughts play on my mind, trying to figure out, okay, what can I do for myself? I don't want to work for somebody, but I already like to do poetry. So some people, your personal passion can turn into your income depending on how you want to stay focused. So.
One of the things I copied down out of the book, The E-Myth.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting it. You guys should talk if you're.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to elaborate on that long
It comes
term.
down to having mentors and learning from someone that has been where you want to go. And one of the things I've learned in leadership and success is they call it define, learn, do. Define what you want, and we'll get into that a little more. Learn from someone that's doing it or has done it, and then copy their success. Don't redefine the wheel, so to speak. Just follow somebody that will mentor you. But the one thing out of the E-Myth was when an entrepreneur creates the model, he or she, that's your idea, he or she surveys the world and asks, where's the opportunity? So you saw something through the violence in the community.
Yeah.
You're seeing things on how to reach out to juveniles, kids within the shops, and how to, with the hair and cooking and between sports and rap. That could be really interesting. You know, boxing to a rhythm. It could be a TV thing, you know, like dance boxing or something.
I mean, they have Zumba.
Yeah, like
That's the craze.
Like I got my inspiration from, it's a boxer, y'all probably won't know the name, but his name Adrian Broner. Like he's close to Floyd, and I got the idea. I didn't get the idea from him, but it's kind of like at first I was stuck between did I want to do rapping or did I want to do boxing, and then they kind of like mixed together when I saw his idea because he had a studio.
It was a great combination of both.
Like he had his own booth and all that stuff, and he had his own artists. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, but the difference between him and me is that I'm really dedicated to my music because my father and my grandfather, they all had something to do with music, and my brothers had something to do with music, so music will always be a part of me, but I really love the boxing aspect because it's like something different, and I like to do stuff that's different.
And that's sort of what she touched on about the passing down of the interest, like passing down of the passion, like keeping it within the family. And it's sort of like when you do it, you almost can't help but to have, you know, your other siblings or your friends or your family members kind of like imitate that. So, you know, you guys are.
Yeah, because she had a good idea. Like I like what Michelle said because it's not about what you do. It's about what to pass on to your generations because you always want your generations to live out.
Yes.
Well, there's 3 levels of motivation we talk about in our leadership programs, and one is monetary money. You start to become a success, like we said. You've got to make some money at your business, otherwise the business is going to go under. And once you start to get success, you're entitled to, well, we can talk on another day about financial smarts, but yeah, it's not, you're allowed to buy some nice things. There's a right time and place for that, but the second level is recognition. You start to, your peers start to say, hey, he's doing some good in the community. Look at where he's gone. He's light heavyweight and got a Grammy or something. You know?
Seriously though, yeah.
He's slam dunking from center court or something. I don't know who's out there today. I watched Dr. J 100 years ago. But yeah, I'm old. But and then the third level is legacy. It's like, once you get to a certain point, it's like, what can you do to pass on? You want something to continue when you're not there. Let's go to,
I think that's something he kind of already touched on indirectly without even understanding. And it's like the same way you just said, like, why not even try to do both? You said basketball and football. Now I'm sitting here thinking, like, other than Bo Jackson and maybe I think with Deion Sanders, not too many other people did both
Michael
sports.
Jordan, did he touch on it a little bit?
No, he did
No, he
baseball,
left
but
for a little bit.
he left, but it was
he
like
wasn't that good at baseball.
Bo Jackson literally did it coinciding while both seasons were
Understood.
going on.
Yeah.
So I told you he sticks out. Whether he was actually full blown talented in both sports, he sticks out with the fact that he was able to maintain both.
Yeah.
So like I said, just something simple like that. That's something that nobody else did before. It may sound real simple, but at the same time, you look at somebody that's like Russell Westbrook that's built for that. You know what I'm saying? He built for being a crazy running back or safety, but he's running up and down the court. You know what I mean, scoring as the strong point guard. So I tell people small things like that. It may seem simple, but if you're the first one with that idea and you're focusing on just that, then you're gonna have that perspective. I mean, AI tried to do it, but he wasn't serious with football no more. But we seen he had it in high school. So tell people small things like that. Don't even let it die off. The way she was serious about her restaurant. I don't want McDonald's. Okay, cool. Look, say no more. You want the level of your restaurant to have a certain type of standard. Like I don't want to just hear McDonald's just because they make a lot of money. There's a lot of them out there. I want mine to have a little bit more meaning to me. Or somebody go to and they like, you mean, has a good reminder instead of just fast food. So.
Like pros and cons.
Well, the thought about McDonald's wasn't to create a
No,
fast
no.
food thing.
Yeah.
It was more of the system.
Yeah.
Because if you want to
My
franchise
business-
out, you can't, physically, you run out of hours in the day. And I would recommend everybody, pick up this book, The E-Myth Revisited, on Michael Gerber, because it talks about a woman that started a bakery because she loved baking. But after a few years, after 10 years, she was on burnout because it wasn't going where she wanted, which would bring me to another thought is, what's the vision you have for not only your business, but for your life? Try and picture where you'd like to be 10 years down. You're all in high school area. I can't remember that. It's like, but it's because they get into it with a coach in the book, in the storyline, is where do you want your life to be?
Yeah.
And then start setting, will the business help you get there? Now, it doesn't have to be huge mansions and all kinds of rich niceties, but if it still can't get you where you want to go, then we may have to rethink the business model, or change it a little bit, tweak it to get you where you want to go, or do something else that'll help you move in that direction. But the whole McDonald's thing was, it's a system that can be taught and duplicated city to city, state to state, and you can take your restaurant model and move it, make it mobile, and sell the franchise out, and that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Let's go back to sports here. With the basketball, I mean, I'm not athletic. If you ever saw me play basketball, it would be a disgrace. Somebody stopped once and got both feet off the ground at the same time. It's not pretty. But, again, it's a success mind. You were talking on that. You can't be deterred. Failure is only a stepping stone for the next success. So Michael Jordan, I think his story was he got kicked off the high school basketball team. Went back to the coach and said, what do I got to do to get on? And he said, meet me every morning, and they did 100 free throws every day. And eventually he got back on and came to the level he's at now.
I put a little addition to that story, and I tell people the irony of that story is they don't always tell like the last part of that story. Even though he didn't get picked and that player was picked over him, he at his Hall of Fame speech, he brought that same player there to like pretty much listen to his Hall of Fame speech. So when he pretty much pointed him out, he pointed the guy out, and the guy pretty much waved, but it was just like the symbolism of the fact that you pretty much created the Michael Jordan everybody else in the entire world sick. You created that, you the one person that created that attitude for me to be like, have my willpower, my will to win.
That failure gave him the burden.
Yeah, I just thought that was like amazing. Like,
So don't let a failure or a setback shut you down. So
But,
get yourself a good coach and get yourself push. Just push yourself beyond. We've got mobile plants. Go ahead.
and keeping true to sort of like what you want to do. I think it's important. You ever hear the saying, and it's said that you are only as strong as the company that you keep. So my question to you is, you guys here, is do you find among your peers the entrepreneurial state of mind? where you're kind of like rubbing off and kind of like rubbing shoulders and sharing ideas. Do you see that?
Yes.
You know where you are? You do see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Like when we in school and like after school, like our after school program, like we always communicating and we always share ideas and stuff like that. Like when I get my business in the future, say I might need Jeremiah to make me like business shirts or something like that,
Exactly.
and I would be like willing to go to him.
Yes. Right. So that's and because you two have the business mindset and you already know he's a source, it kind of keeps it also in our communities like revitalizing the money, revitalizing, you know, the economic structure, you know, within just our local spaces, you know, and that's cool. That's cool.
There was a story I heard. Oh, were you raising your hand? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I think it was Ken Griffey Jr. And there was a mother, her young son wanted to play baseball. So she waited outside after the game where the players came out. And she finally got his attention. She said, Mr. Griffey, my boy likes baseball. And I forget the story, if he was 8 or 10 years old. Could you give him 3 points? Just something of like success tips. So he thought about it and he goes, first one is, when you go to bed at night, the last thing on your mind is baseball or what you want to do. And the kid looked at me and said, I do, I go to bed, I sleep with my ball glove under my pillow every night. Okay. First thing when you get up in the morning, the first thing on your mind has got to be baseball. And he goes, I do. I got your picture and I got picture baseball stuff all over my bedroom. He says, great. Now the third one's the hardest. And he says, if anybody, no matter whether it's family, friend, anybody, ever tries to steal your dream, respect them, but never take advice from them ever again. Don't let them steal that dream.
That's very
Go
true.
after it. Look at people with restaurants. Go after ball players. Go after boxers, music, in the music industry.
Yeah.
I told you my boxing thing, you don't want to go after me. But I went after food. Restaurants, t-shirts, or clothing lines, apparel lines. And then getting into with kids. We can talk more about some programs I'm doing with an organization called Proactive, reintegration programs and things like that. And then a hair salon. You know, go out, and I would encourage you to go out and have any of you worked or done anything outside of the sports side, worked in any of the fields that you'd like to move into?
Yes, I work for ShopRite, McDonald's, and stuff like that. But I don't, like, me personally, like, a job is a job because you're getting that money, but at the same time, I can't work for nobody. Like, I don't see it for me. Like, I don't feel comfortable working for nobody. I don't want nobody to wait on no check that somebody that I worked hard for over hours and stuff like that. Like, I can't do it. I'd rather get somebody a check than somebody give me a check.
Very true.
At the same mindset.
And have your passion realized. Like, you know, we all have positions where we have to be the leaders and followers of, like you said, you had the job, but you were, for that time, a follower. You needed a sort of like a gauge.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, you know, and that's I think very
That's my
important.
mindset. I always had that mindset of me owning my own stuff, like my own business and stuff like that. My first idea was I wanted to open up my own law firm, but I don't know, like, I just changed my mind about it. So that's why I decided I wanted to cook, because I cook with a passion, like I cook every day.
And like you said, you have family
So,
members
yes.
that also do it too. So that's a good support and a good way to, you know, you're not doing it by yourself. I think the hard part of running a business is sort of when you don't have an example, because you spoke on it before, having the mentors. You know, mentorship is very important, because even what you said, you know, you want to do the basketball, right? The basketball and football, to have those inspiring visualizations or people, and it doesn't have to be. It can be in a book. It can be what you say, Bo Jackson, you know, or you said Bo Jackson,
playing two
right?
sports, yeah.
But just to have that visual where you can tap into the mind of, you can hear what they say, like hear the that's important too, hearing the challenges, because being a business owner is not easy.
No,
You
you
know,
got
the
to be willing to
entrepreneurs
take risks. I mean, that's one thing,
Yes.
like you said, if you, like, some situations, like you said, when you're carving your own lane, some situations, you may have somebody similar, but you may not have nobody that did exactly what you're trying to do.
Right.
So I could definitely say through experience, it was one of those things you had to be ready for failure almost.
Yeah.
You have to understand that you're taking a certain type of risk that as an entrepreneur, like you said, this is your goal.
Yeah.
I want to pay myself.
Right.
I mean, it's been times, like I said, I've thrown shows and lost thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Heartbroken for the whole summer, can't get a haircut, can't do nothing.
There you go.
But I understood that's what I was taking the risk for in the first place. I was risking the game maybe $2,000-3,000 and it didn't pan out for me.
Right.
So you gotta understand those things are gonna happen almost.
And I think
Oh.
here's a word that
But
I
it didn't
heard.
stop you?
Not at all.
And
Not at
because
all.
you were, someone said this, be obsessive.
Yeah.
Not in a negative way,
Nah.
but be obsessive. Like you said, wake up in the morning, that's what you're thinking about. You know, you're going to sleep, that's what you're thinking about. Your homeboys and your homegirls, we ain't talking the same language. Well, then I gotta go work because I'm obsessive. My goal is straightforward, and that's where I'm going. You know,
And sometimes you gotta cut people off and fall back and focus
Yeah.
on your own page.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Cause you don't know what you want to lose until you lose.
You meant,
Hello.
you raised your hand also, you worked around it a little bit?
Oh, yes. 75% of the shirts I wear, I make.
Good
You know,
job.
Okay,
that's-
nice.
I'm an assistant also on the side, I'm an assistant at my cousin's store in Germantown, Venego. It's called Roller Binding. I help assist, making binding shirts. Is what, portray that idea.
Yes. Yeah.
I also worked around my what I wanted to do. I worked at a daycare. The daycare I worked at, it was a good daycare, but I felt as though like it was a good thing. Like that made me make me want to like run a daycare even more because
somebody do it.
yeah.
Seen somebody do it.
And I always say that or ask that question because I think your mindset is, I don't want to work for anybody else. And I've been self-employed for 20-some years. And I got to the point, I didn't start that way, but I got to the point, I just can't go back to being an employee. But at your age, is gain some experience in the field that you want to go after for all your dreams. And then you got to start putting some money aside because businesses cost money. So that's where the homework is going to start to come in. And I think at Yes Philly, it sounds like they have programs there that get you thinking along those lines. The two biggest reasons businesses fail are not enough knowledge in the field you want to go in. You want to go into cooking. But if you can't boil water, you might want to rethink your. My wife can't boil water, I cook. I'm also a good eater, so I might be a good customer. And the other is they're undercapitalized because businesses cost money. And people don't think about that, and they jump in and they get in over their heads. So it causes, there's a lot of failure. But those that do their homework and really put it all down, it's like set the vision, set some goals, game plan at each goal, and it'll start to come out.
I have a question in reference to the financial. Is anybody here like on any kind of budgeting course? Like, are you
I
in a
know.
financial?
I budget like crazy.
You do. How do you do that?
Well, I'm a mother too, so I gotta budget because I can't be a mom and then I ain't got no money in my pocket and my kids they need. So I'm thinking about everything like each corner, each angle. So clothes, food wise, housing, everything.
Yeah, the details are important.
Yeah, money management is very important.
Yeah.
If I had money, I would have budgeted. But
What I be budgeting like I do based on like what I need. Like my phone bill, I already like maxed it out. I like put that price and probably add like another 10 or 2 on it, so like I can have that to the side and what I'm going to spend throughout the day, and whatever I'm not going to spend, I would like leave it home or something. Because like if you just have all your money on you at once, it's tempting. Like you gonna spend it all at once. So it's best to take what you gonna spend out that day.
Jack, I have a question.
Go ahead.
In reference to the financial spending, when it comes to like credit scores, how important is that into entrepreneurship?
I have mixed emotions about credit scores.
we might know about that.
The credit score, it's, you're gonna need maybe some business capital, so you may have to get some loans. But there's books, and I can talk about some things later on being smart about it. But in one of our books called I'm gonna have a senior moment, the Matrix, Financial Matrix, they talk about credit scores. But that was formed by the banks. And the banks came up with a program to allow you to keep borrowing more and more money and get deeper and deeper in debt. So there's a different way to look at it. The entrepreneur, the businessman, you're going to need some capital, you're going to have some debt, but you've got to make sure that you've got the business ready to come in so that you can pay that off quickly and be smart about it, not just rack up debt, hey, I got a couple extra bucks this month, let's go spend it. No, be smart about your business debt and get out of debt as quickly as possible. So, yeah, credit's good. It's got to be good. But again, you're all young and you're starting out, so who has credit? You know, so there's little things you can do. We can talk about that going down the road.
I think that goes more into, like you said, with business planning though too. Like you said, having the capital to back up exactly what type of moves you want to make, or having the things that you want to possibly purchase for your business. So like you said, when you have a business plan, like tell people no matter what it is, like back to him with sports or back to with restaurants or small things like that, it's just investigate exactly where and what you want to do. So if I want to play for the Phoenix Suns, I want to play the LA Lakers, okay. What college suits my fitting for that team? You know what I'm saying? What coaches, what shooting coaches can I be around? If I'm a big man, what coach I want to be around? Is it LSU where Shaq went? Or is those are the type of detailed researches I tell people you need, like such as I'm saying for sports or something like that, or for the restaurant, okay. Do I want to be like a Red Lobster, or do I want to be like a Miss Tootsie's on South Street? See what I'm saying? It's still two restaurants, but one is like has a big name for being just like predominantly on South Street, and Red Lobster is like pretty much like worldwide known. Still respectable restaurants, but still to the point just different layouts. Yeah, different layouts. So.
Okay.
I would like to introduce. We had a couple new joiners to our soiree. Introduce yourself, Charlotte.
Hi, I'm Charlotte, Representative Curtis Thomas's office, and we put this team talk together, and I have with me
Cleus Young.
and we chimed in. We're listening. I don't know. Cleus Young have some pretty good views, you know, around. Maybe I would say your left foot would be your right foot would be your left. That's the way I look at him. So I'm interested to hear what he has to say about, you know, entrepreneurship, and he's a great entrepreneur himself. But I had two questions while I was listening. Number one, what do you think about credit unions? Credit unions, like, should people get into credit unions? And then number two, how many of you save pennies? Right. I always believe that if you pass up, how you're going to ask God for blessings or for more finances, or just want more finances, and you pass up pennies every day. So I just thought I'd ask that question.
I see my grandma thing.
Yeah, I learned that from my great grandma.
Oh, okay.
Quarters in there. I was like, ooh, I'm about to steal that out.
I used to just toss pennies like it was nothing. That's still money, so every penny don't count.
Yeah, everything counts. So again, what do you think about credit unions?
I'm not that familiar with the credit unions. Well, I shouldn't say that. My first house I financed through a credit union, through it was a Ukrainian credit union through my nationality. And they tend to be a lot more lenient. They can be strict in their ways, but they're a lot more lenient with their fees and helping people. So in the long run, when I bought my first house through them, I saved thousands of dollars.
So would you recommend credit
unions? Look into them.
Okay.
I mean, you've got to go in and talk and say, hey, this is what we're trying to do. They're probably going to look for a business plan, but go in and talk to them. And through the school and different classes, they're going to say, they may have some advisors along those lines. Talk to everybody. I took a class, I was in the Carpenters Union, laid off, the industry had tanked. There was no work, and I took a little class to write a business plan. And I went in after the first day, and I had an accountant for property that I owned. I talked to him. What do I need to know about business? He gave me all the details from an accountant's perspective. I talked to insurance agents. I talked to a lawyer. I didn't really need a lawyer at that point. But I just made some phone calls. And just don't be afraid to ask. There is no dumb question. Because if you think it's a dumb question and you don't ask it, it'll bite you in the shorts later on. But do your homework. You know, and you're young, you've got lots of time to start.
Right.
You know, he's a couple steps further along the path than you guys are. Cleus here, what would you say about some of that?
Oh, by the way, before you start, we would like to give him a round of applause. He just graduated.
Oh, yeah.
Please let everyone know what was your degree? What did you graduate?
Is it Dr. Cleus now?
No. Human Services, and minor in psychology, which is basically how do you develop the community and how do you develop the mentality of the people. So it's having an understanding. And as we talk about entrepreneurship, I went to a conference in Arizona in 2013. And when I went to the conference, it was a conference that you attended, 3-day conference, but you also had an opportunity to pick like workshops to go to. So I just filled my schedule with different workshops. It so happened that one of the workshops that I went to was this guy named Bill Drayton, and he talks about entrepreneurship in the workshop. So I got his contact information afterwards, and he's like, hey, reach out to me. Went home, did my little research on him. I found out this is the guy who actually took the context of entrepreneurship and brought it to what it is today. So you're sitting here and knowing about entrepreneurship because of this guy himself.
Oh,
He's
wow.
like the grandfather.
Like the inventor or something.
The
Okay, the first okay. Okay.
It was there before, but no one took it to the level
Okay,
that
then
it
he's
needed to go
okay.
to. His name is Bill Drayton. And that's how I started to get an understanding of what entrepreneurship really is. It's a terminology that's used often in our community today, but it's misrepresented.
Can you share maybe 2 or 3 points of what, you know, the way we may see it, but then his view of it, what is the difference?
So this is the aspect of entrepreneurship. One aspect is that it's a risk opportunity, right? But it's like something that seems impossible. The whole idea of being an entrepreneur is that you're going to take something and you're going to flip it into a way that no one has ever seen it before and brought to a new life. It's not a business that you just own. That's called small businesses. Entrepreneurs were people that looked at something and said, hey, I'm going to put this out there, take the risk of trying to do it, and then what happened, you have a high risk of failing, but you're so believable in what you're doing that you make it a reality, and then what happened now, that reality now becomes reality to other people. So it's something that you look at. For instance, you're in the music business, right? So even from the context of starting a business, they always ask you what's going to be different for your business than someone else's that's already doing music. So it's if you look at it and you say, hey, I'm going to take this music and take it to a whole nother level. Like for me, I just finished school around human services, but now I'm looking at it, how do I use human service in a whole different angle than what you're accustomed to? Typically, you look at human service like social work, psychologists, and stuff like that.
Case management.
Yeah, I just did my first documentary, and that was the context of human services. The same relief that they use to get someone medicated, for me, I use a documentary to help relieve certain stress in these families' life. And I didn't have to give them any type of medication. I took their story and I found a way how to relieve some of that pain that's inside of them. So for me, it's looking at it, how do I take human service now and take it to a whole nother level that people have never seen before?
Wow.
Through the arts of using documentary, films, music video, and stuff like that. A whole new angle, because at the end of the day, I understand this. A part of the way that we operate on a day-to-day basis, we go through all these stress factors, right? Stress causes trauma. All you need to do is to learn how to relieve that stress. There's a therapeutic aspect, it's called talk therapy, that you allow people to talk about their therapeutic aspect. So I took that concept and I sat down with a video camera and I allowed people to share some of the things that were burdening them inside. And when they were able to do that and put it out on the camera, and then we did a screening of the documentary, and then they're looking at it now and seeing what people are saying based on their story now, so they feel so relieved now, like wow.
And maybe a self-esteem uplift.
Oh my goodness.
You know, like a boost.
And that's what you look at now. How do you take it? And I didn't give them any medication.
Well, it's kind of not to get too deep to maybe to y'all understanding. It's kind of like support. Just look at the word support or peer pressure. What do you call it? peer support
Peer
or peer specialist.
Mm.
Someone that sits around at the table and have a comment, even with people who are on drugs or alcohol and they have those AA meetings where they sit around. I think a lot of times that stress that because we go from one thing to the next and never been able to get over the other thing, it piles on top of each other and you never get a chance to relieve it. So say somebody stepped on your shoe. It wasn't the fact that they stepped on your shoe, because you built up with all this anger, you shot them. So now, or killed them or fought them or whatever the case may be. But now the media has put it out like, oh, you killing somebody over some shoes. No, that's not what happened. Let's address the real issue. I had some issues, I had some things going on. Then you come to find out that individual went through a ton of things all the way back to maybe when they was a child.
Yes.
You know,
So
so that's a very,
Yeah.
very,
Media,
very good
when
point.
you talked about the media and sort of like, you talked about psychology, you talked about talk therapy and how it kind of like helps to get those emotions out. I'm thinking about like what you guys do, like in the aspects that you do it. What part? I'm thinking about social media. And when you have the platform of speaking about what it is that you love, why you love it, and where you come from, and why you do, why you want to do what you do, it sort of, I think, plays as some kind of therapy. Do you think it plays as some kind of therapy? Because there are some teens who are economically challenged, right? Mama don't have, the family don't have, and they feel as though they may have to go to the streets. They may not want to do it. But if they are not finding, what we talked about earlier, finding people to talk about the same things, right? It's almost like you feel like you're in a box. So
the question that you ask them now is which one of them have that support group where, because even from the aspect of where they're doing an entrepreneurial step as far as owning their own business, who are they collaborating with? So who are you guys collaborating with right now to get that business idea into reality?
I mean, well, like you said, I started outsourcing for me with the music thing. I actually recently left my record label in September. Me and my partner had a little bit of dispute. So I started reaching out to other independent people, independent managers, but Rec Philly. I was looking up the old Philadelphia records. I think they tore the actual building down, but the record label was still alive. So it's one of those situations where I just try to look at people that were already within the city that was pretty much doing some of the things that we were doing. And I can say right now, and I was definitely going to ask for your advice right about now. Since leaving my record label, I'm actually starting a management company right now to be more diverse, like you said, to give people a sense of expression. I have 12 artists right now that range from rappers, singers, producers, and poets. And I'm personally a songwriter / spoken word artist. So that's why my interest is diverse like that, and I was bringing people who do the same thing. It's pretty much promoting the fact that some young independent artists that just, like you said, pretty much going through a lot of things and don't want to turn to essentially medicated help or psychological help, and I just give them the opportunity to put words together and write poetry. Tell me what your life was. Tell me what you've been through. And when I give you the opportunity to say it to me, I always tell them indirectly the fact that you told me and you're getting to know me. You can express those things like you said to the world, and I'll put you on stage. So if I put you on the stage, I show a diverse crowd that we can do singing, rap, and poetry within the same show. And that's pretty much my business platform, by having people express what they do, and I still love what I do.
So that would now take you on that entrepreneurial aspect, because some people just believe it's just writing songs or going out there and performing. But you're looking at it and saying, hey, what are the things that are troubling you, and giving you that outlet to express it. So you're taking this whole aspect of songwriting to a whole nother level, which people are looking at it, oh, I want to become a singer, and they just go and start singing, not knowing that this is an opportunity for you to actually get those things that are burdening you inside and bringing it on another level where you're getting to heal yourself along with healing other people. So if you start looking at music as a healing tool, then you're now looking at it as far as an entrepreneurial aspect, because you're taking the regular music and you're saying, hey, I don't want to just produce music. I want to produce music that's healing to those who are making the music and those who are going to listen to the music. So you just took that whole idea of music to a whole nother level. And if you can get people to buy into that later on, then you have now become an entrepreneur that shifted society. And I started doing a little research and revelation. Before they were called entrepreneurs, they were called philosophers. Philosophers were people who came in with different beliefs. and they shifted the way certain society would actually do things, like the Play-Doh back then. And even from a biblical context, Jesus, you would consider it a philosopher and an entrepreneur. Why? Because when you look at it, typically they would say, hey, you fast on this day. And Jesus came in and said, no, we're going to do this on this. So it was a way of how he came in and changed the whole atmosphere of how you used to do things.
So is it a matter of surveying your environment and then kind of tweaking, remember we said the surveying part, surveying your environment and then tweaking it to the needs of the people.
And that to bring them to a new level. That's what entrepreneur is.
Instead of like formality
Yes.
or a constant
Which that's regular,
Yes, it is.
because you have business where you're talking about sole proprietorship, right?
Yes.
Sole
Yeah.
proprietorship means that you take on the risk and responsibility of everything. That doesn't mean that you're an entrepreneur. That just means that
Very
you're
different.
a small business, and
Right.
there's different types of small business. You can have one employee, you can have two, you can have probably up to 20 employees, and you will call a small business. Then you have the mid-size, then you have the corporation. But when you're talking about an entrepreneur spirit now, it's someone who comes in and look at something and say, hey, I'm going to take this to a whole nother level that causes people to see life on a whole new plane.
I'm gonna go back to the books here. The E-Myth talks about that. And the E-Myth is called the entrepreneurial myth. And it's,
So,
just because I start a business, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that's, Cash Flow Quadrant was the first book that made me cry, because I own a job. The second one was the E-Myth, because it talks about technician, manager, and entrepreneur. And most people, I was a carpenter, so I hung up a shingle. I did carpentry work for a lot of years. If you're a beautician, you hang up a shingle. I'm tired of working with somebody else, and you live. If you're just doing music, you're just going to do music kind of the same way. You hang up your sign, or whatever you want to do. But we're good at what we do, but we don't know the business side. And we also don't have that other missing element, which is the entrepreneur, that drive, that vision. The other step is the manager. Hey, I've run this business for whoever. You know, I'm running your shop. I'm running your shop. I'm good at this. I'll do it myself. Well, I've got no technical skills and probably no people skills and no vision. So I'm going to fail probably, but I think I can run a business. Then the entrepreneur has got that vision.
Very true.
He's combining things. And what you're talking about, a couple different things with music and what you're doing. One of the talks we had in our organization is called innovation. And there's directional innovation, which is improving, getting better sound quality out of an audio or video. But then there's intersectional innovation, where you're taking two different objects and you're combining them.
right.
And it's like, boom.
Yeah.
Or it's like building blocks, or putting
It's a different
Legos
concept,
together.
but it's having that vision. Like we said here, it's taking that model, surveying the world and saying, where's the opportunity? What can I do with this?
And that was.
And then doing the
that
homework.
was the plan.
So is
Homework's
it
the
almost
big
like
side.
inventing a wheel? Like first it was square, then it was circle, then it was, until we got to the point where we have this circle that everybody uses or this roll type of thing where everybody uses
Traction,
today.
yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because I was just looking at Bill Gates. Like before Bill Gates and the computer, people used to write letters, and back in the days it was like sending a note with pigeon and
Right.
stuff like that.
Maybe a typewriter.
Yeah. And now it's like we're going to computer, email, Facebook, all this
Text
stuff.
message.
Because he didn't invent, and he didn't invent it. He just made
Brought
it.
it to, and
Yeah.
that's what entrepreneurs do.
You got
They
it.
bring it to a whole new aspect where the world runs on
personal
computers
aspect.
right now. So when you look at entrepreneur, it's someone who goes in. And back then, I heard the story over and over again where they were saying when computer was just coming out, they were trying to get stocks into it, and people are like, oh no, I don't want that. And look at it now.
Yes.
Because they thought it was going to fail. And that's the whole aspect. When you're doing something and the world around you may believe that it's going to fail, but that's where the entrepreneurial spirit comes in and says, listen, I'm going to put this into the world where the world could see it and believe in it, and then now it becomes a part of the world.
I think, you know, we've kind of gone through some things, you guys got some great ideas. It's just showing, yeah, the next generation, if you got a good idea, pursue it. Find out something about it. And if it's something that you want to have, you got to go to bed thinking about it. You got to get up in the morning thinking about
Eat,
it.
sleep,
And
drink.
if someone tries to steal your
Passion.
dream, run the other way. You know, I think it was Walt Disney said, he asked 10 people about advice on something, and 9 of them said the same thing, and he went with the one. Because he had a vision, and he got fired from doing cartoons. You know? So, but he had a vision, and he saw something. So keep it up. Go do some stuff. Now, are there projects, you guys in particular, that Yes Philly is working on, like a community service project or something we heard about?
Yeah, like in our school, we got a lot of things like activities that we go through, like some people do murals and some people do like artwork and some people like write poetry or we're like our school, like our after school teacher, she's connected with Philly Can, and like that's a non-profit organization and that's just about to get on TV. So we were thinking about sharing our music and like making a little TV show and being on there and then promoting what we have to do to like get famous or like make a good standpoint where we want to be in life. So
The
that's
same thing we're talking about here?
but
I believe I believe we have a young gentleman here that just chimed in.
Yeah.
He has a few comments to what we were talking about.
So I've been listening. My name is Isaiah, and I've been listening for a while. And you brought up a new meaning to the definition of entrepreneur, and you was talking about like he has to see something and then tweak it, like and build upon it. And you talked about the wheel, like to me, like you made it like you brought like new light to me on this word, and like it sounds like for you to be able to be considered an entrepreneur, you need innovation. You need to innovate something.
Wow.
And that's
And you know what the beautiful thing about this whole conversation, and the reason we meet down here every Wednesday, is to open up your mind and expand it, to put you on another level. So this just proves by you listening to what he is saying that you have now, you got it, you grasped it. And I always say if it's just 1 or 2 or 3, you know, all of us learn at our own pace, but just by him learning it, maybe 25 years down the line, he said, I was sitting in a setting and a gentleman talked about entrepreneurship and took my mind to a whole different level. And this is why I'm a billionaire today. You know, so these are the reasons why we have these conversations, and I'm glad that you were able to share that with us.
And that's why I think it's important that we're always studying.
Yeah.
Like not really just studying. You can study. You're an entrepreneur, but your what's the word? But your obligation, I guess, is to stay developing in all
Areas,
in all areas. Because we said earlier about the surveying your environment, surveying yourself, surveying the needs like that. But then understanding like even how other cultures are doing it, you know, how the next man is doing it, you know, the brother here, research. You
And
know.
I think to keep us from like boggling our minds and figure out like what can I do to invent? Because I know there's a lot of people out there. What can I do to come up? No, what can you do to invent?
Yeah, just be true
What
to
can you
yourself
do to
and
make
advance that.
make it better?
Well, there's,
If you have a water system that's irrigation system that is not working properly for 30-something years, you have went back to do the research and the same thing is happening over again. What can you do to make that irrigation system or that water system better?
there's
You know?
another term, parallels entrepreneurs called intrapreneurs.
Oh.
And that's someone who doesn't have their own business, but has that same drive and vision, but they're working for a company. And that's how can they improve what they're doing. So, and then a mentor of mine who just passed away, his big line was, school's never out for the pro.
Ah.
It's not, you're not,
Wow,
you're not going to
that's
school,
deep.
you're not going to school for math or science, but you're reading books like this. I wish these books, I read them 30 years ago, would have changed something. And I encourage you both to go to the library and pick up these books and think, and then get some, you know, if it's in sports, get some books on the successful sports figures in history, whether it's Bo Jackson or it's Dr. J.
Well, I tell you what though, there's just to bring that up. I know you guys have. Y'all saw the movie with Will Smith? I think I forgot the name. Please forgive me. Where they talked about the head trauma, what's happening with concussion. And just recently, there's a guy. Please excuse me for television reasons. I do not know his name, but he just invented a helmet to protect your head from. So things like that. He saw the problem, which we always talk about, talking about the problem all the time. He saw the problem, he found out, he seeked, he did his research, and he did this helmet, which is going to now, he's going to sell to all of your, the ESPN, not ESPN, but all your in the pro. And he's going to make a lot of money, okay?
We
so this
could
is really
take that
big.
conversation at a whole other level.
But what I'm saying is, like, those kind of things, like, you never know. You know how people say you sit in a room, you never know which one of them is going to be successful, because it depends on what the person grabbed out of the session or what we're discussing. But I think
Take your ideas and run with them.
No, go ahead.
Oh, cause like in the beginning, some of the people in our like program, we weren't sure like to come out today, but I'm honestly glad to come out because I wouldn't have known that like he has his own studio and like you all have your business goals in life, and like before I came here today, I wasn't sure on going to college, but I see like college can open a new door for you.
It's a
like,
benefit. Oh, so that's number 2. Wow.
So can I piggyback off of that? Sure. One of my mottos is just show up. Just show up. Just be open, know yourself, and know your passion enough. I mean, just show up, even if you're a little afraid.
You never know.
I've shared in another video that we were in about like my apprehensiveness on speaking, but it's interesting because it's always been a passion, and that's what I'm kind of growing into. But my whole thing was you step into spaces, even with a shaky voice, a shaky spirit, a shaky like I don't know apprehensiveness. You just show up and people will bless you. That is the motto. They will bless you. They will see you. They will feel it. And you just keep talking. You just keep talking. Keep studying. And you don't have to be a genius. But just keep adding on. The little bit goes a long way.
I wanted to add to that. Just
perfect.
Yeah, practicing perfect and studying, because a lot of times people have this academia. I can't even say it right. Academia fear.
Yeah.
Like I have to be so smart, make straight A's, and do this and that in order to achieve. No, study, work hard. You have some of your people who are self-taught that are your most professional people today, or own all kinds of business. You may be working for somebody that you never know may have learned while they were in prison. I mean, people learn from all aspects, but I believe it's hard work, dedication, a mindset, basically. If you have a vision, what I always say, even on our internet service, I always say, without a vision, we perish.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't have a vision, I mean, think about it. Oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do today, so I'm just sitting here and watch TV and sit on the couch. You haven't even paved the path in your mind.
Right.
You have to pave the path of your mind in order to get up and get the legs to moving. So you know,
these guys,
it's
they
just
have
deep.
that vision.
It's
They've
deep.
got something that's going to move them forward.
Just
And you never know who you're going to connect with
that's
or
true.
inspire.
That's true. Absolutely.
Because you want to help families with Aaron and babysitting. And the young man who was sitting next to you before talked about helping with the delinquency
Juvenile.
in
wow.
the communities. So you don't know who's going to affect who down the road. And like you said, coming out here today, you get a different perspective on thinking toward college.
And him
I'm a huge proponent of networking. And that's what got me into CTC, meeting people, going all around. I've gone to places where I got nothing out of it, except a handful of business cards. And then all of a sudden I meet Cleus, and I go, I just met a guy over there. You might want to connect with him. But who down the road, Cleus is going, hey, that Jack remembered me. I think you never know who knows who.
Right, and even in collecting those business cards, you just made me think about that. Like without a plan as well. Like we a lot of times fail with strategically planning things. You put those cards together, you lay them out on the table. Okay, how do I interconnect these dots? Strategically plan what you're gonna do. Like nowadays, people have network parties, or they do things like that to meet and greet, just to connect with people to see who's on. Because if you think about it. Even with me being in this profession about 2.5 years now, everyone who I talk to, have the same drive and goal and vision. I'm just like, how can we all put this one under the umbrella? You're all in your segregated silo, and not probably intentionally, just because you don't know how to interconnect the dots. So everybody have their own thing going on, but your will turns the other wheel, your will turns the other wheel, and it just keeps going like a well-oiled machine. But we have to strategically put it together. And I won't say learn, because I believe we have the inability to do so, you know.
So y'all was talking about like showing up and people you meet. So like today, exactly today, I came outside and I was about to play basketball with my friends down in Berks. So I'm coming outside and I'm like, I got my coat ready, this on, and I see Mark down the street playing ball. We played ball for a couple hours, and I played ball with Mark because he knows so much about the sport, and I want to get better at it. I'm really passionate about the sport. Like, I think basketball, I wake up playing basketball. Everything about basketball I love. I don't know exactly what I want to be, but I love the sport. So Mark is always like giving me advice. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just tell my friends I'll meet up with them some other time because I want to learn from him because I know he can teach me a lot. So, and going back to like, you never know what people can give you. He gave me a lot of information, what to do with my game and stuff. And earlier, like before I left, because I had to make it to school at 11, I felt like I wanted to stay there all day long, but I had to go. So he's like, come to this entrepreneur meeting and just see if you like it or not. And right now, I'm in love with it. Yeah.
Oh, great! Wow.
And what this is for, right?
This is this is what I'm just amazed and floored, because a lot of times, you know, I talk a lot, but I'm learning to listen more, and I know that's a key component also when you're in this kind of setting. But as I'm listening, I see growth. So now in my mind, I'm like, what does it take right there? Stop right there. What we're doing here, well, how can we take that to mold that to help other people? We need to do the same thing that the light bulb can come on and other people's youth, our future.
So their job is to share today's
today's
with the social
bring it
media,
back.
take pictures, like selfies. Everybody get in one and just blast. You know, the Easter Broad. You know what we're doing here, because we talk about different topics. We
take a little bit of a program down to Yes Philly.
Yes. As a matter of fact, we have some things in the work, and in the future, we'll probably be talking about that more in the show. But before we kind of close out, I want to give, back to you. And again, can we give Mr. Jack a round of applause for hosting our show today around entrepreneurship?
I said hello and everybody else took over.
And I love the fact that you guys took the initiative to just go ahead and start. And to me, that shows a lot of growth, from where we started from the beginning. But before we go, I always like to have like it's called a thinking moment, like a positive thinking moment. And during that positive thinking moment, where you guys are like having a moment of silence, I would like Cleus to just give us a little small segment of how he got through homelessness, which they call insecure housing now, from being homeless to where he is now, to share with you guys, because I believe, you work from the bottom. People like him are examples of how we can be successful and make it no matter what our circumstances are. So
for me, it was going back to school. This was my first semester. I woke up the morning like 6-something in the morning, and I heard someone yelling, "Hey, get out the building, everyone. The building is on fire." And for me, it's like I'm looking at it, I grabbed my book and my computer. Ironically, because I had class later on. And that was the only thing that I saved. My computer and my book. And I went to, this was like now 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. The place burned down. And I went to school at 12 o'clock to do my final exam. No one in the classroom knew that this just happened.
Wow.
And up to this day, this was in 2013. My professor or the classmate, they still didn't know, because I haven't shared anything. But one thing that I realized that day, I said this will be the best day of my life.
All right.
Even though I lost everything, I said this would be the best day of my life. and I started going from there. And from there, I've been to the UN, the United Nations, 3 times. How I met Mr. Drayton, Bill Drayton, because I'm a part of the Bill Clinton Global Initiative, which we went to California to do our conference. That's how I met him. So I was a part of the Bill Clinton Global Initiative as a student for 2 years.
Wow.
So all these things, I was able to travel different places, doing what I love, and it was based on that one moment. That I looked at it, instead of saying I lost everything, I said to myself, this was the best day of my life, and I'm going to move forward. And I achieved everything that I lost and more.
Oh, wow.
And
Great.
that's where we are today.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And the reason I put a light on him, because, you know, I know other people that are like him and that are successful as well, but for him to volunteer his service and come out and help people, I mean, everywhere I'm at, I always see Cleus, and I'm like, Cleus, wow, we got to stop running to each other's way. But then again, it's a good way, because he's still serving the community as he's going through his milestones, and I think it's a good encouragement for people who are sitting here today, and also for you. Again, I'll give it over to him to give a few closed comments before we close out. But again, thank you for chiming in on our Teen Talk show today.
I just, want to thank everybody for coming. You guys were great. Keep your ideas in front of you. And I guess the closing thought, it's Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Every adversity is a seed for an equal or greater opportunity. Don't let failure stop you. Keep moving forward.
Okay, so there you have it. The Easter Broad Community Daycare Teen Talk and Talent TV show. We had a wonderful show. I hope you learned a lot. You can always find us on Facebook at Easter Broad Community Daycare Teen Talk TV show. And give us your comments and share your thoughts with us. If you see anything or hear anything that you would like to be a part of, make sure you go to www.easterbroadctc.wix.com. Or you can email us at easterbroadctcnetwork@mail.com. Okay, before we leave, I would like for each person, I would like to go around.
You have a talent.
Oh, before we go, I would like to ask each person to just kind of state their name, what they're doing, like positive, and give them encouragement words to our viewers out there. Starting with you, sir.
Hi, my name is Isaiah Alamo. I am a part of a 12-week program in around this neighborhood, and we garden, benefit the community. And next week will be teaching a group of students how to garden and do what we learn.
Thanks.
Nice.
Cleus Young. I've done a lot of things. Now I'm venturing off into being a filmmaker. And one of the things that I could tell everyone through my own experience, it's not about what you believe in yourself. It's about what you believe that you can do. Because for me, at sometimes I look at it that I'm not able to do this, so I can't believe in myself. But the whole idea of me seeing someone else doing it, then I believe that it can be done. And that is something that helped me to get over so many obstacles. Because I never did it before, so I can't believe in myself. But I've seen someone else done it before, and knowing that it can be done. And what I did was finding that way how to get it done. So that's something that you guys need to look at. If it's done already, then it can be done. You have to just find a way to get it done.
Again, I'm Jack Korchar. I'm working with the Life Leadership Organization, and I've been getting involved with city organizations and different programs throughout North Philadelphia, bringing leadership and personal development ideas, wrapping them into entrepreneurial thinking and business principles, seeing how we can really make an impact economically in various areas.
And again, I am Taye Coles, an up-and-coming motivational speaker. I've been inspired by the motivational spaces over the years for myself. You know, coming from maybe what you might consider a bottom and working my way up to the top. And I just love people so much and love healthy minds and healthy spirits and healthy communities. That is what drives me. That's what I wake up thinking about every day. You know, I talk to my children about that. I talk to my significant other about it, and just anybody who I'm in contact with. And I love the fact that we're all here doing just that. I think we're all sort of like motivational speakers to some, you know, in our own rights, because we speak what we love. You know, we are advertisements of positivity, you know, so, but that is what I love. I love people, and I'm so glad to have us all here. I feel good amongst you all, and that's my little spiel.
Again, I'm Oni Philpott, future professional boxer and future music artist.
Like I said, once again, I'm Mark Beckham, co-founder of Alpha Boy Music and Entertainment Manager and spoken word artist. Words of encouragement at this point in time, I would say, never give up. It's never give up, regardless of where you come from, regardless of what's going on in your personal life, good, bad, or indifferent. If you have a personal dream, you have to protect it, regardless of what anybody else is saying around you. So I can say definitely stay driven, stay motivated, and believe in what you do.
My name is Margaret Smith. Go to Yes Philly. A positive.
I mean, you gotta make the world look better, right?
And you gotta make them look good, kids there at the same time, put them in a position to move forward.
All I can say is just keep going.
Moving forward.
That's everything.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Of course, you know who I am, Charlotte Girl Brown. I would say it's not about all the titles and the hats and whatever you have. It's about making it happen and serving your community, serving the underserved community, and serving our youth. I am a strong advocate for serving the youth. Absolutely molding them, speaking to them, encouraging them, and letting them lead the way, because they are our future. And if we don't take care of our future, we're not taking care of ourselves. We have to fill up to die empty. That's the way we have to do it. Fill up to die empty. Without a vision, we perish. And nothing comes to a dreamer but a sleep. So I say keep pushing. Keep moving, you stay motivated. Don't worry about the good grades. Just study, work hard. What you put in it is what you'll get out of it. Again, thank you for joining us at the Teen Talk Talent TV show. And this is the part of the segment where we showcase a talent. I believe that people around us have different gifts at whatever level that they have it, positive, to influence our world, our surroundings, our nations. So at this point, I would like to introduce a young gentleman by the name of Little King, and he's going to give us a song performance. So please give him a round of applause.
Just start singing?
Yeah. Introduce yourself.
My name is Lil King / Julian King, and I'll be singing Grenade by Bruno Mars for you. Easy come, easy go, that's just how you live on. Take it all, but you never give. Should've known you was trouble from the first kiss. Had your eyes wide open. Why were they open? Gave you all I had and you tossed it in the trash. Tossed it in the trash, you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't understand is I'll catch a grenade for ya. Throw my hand on a blade for ya. I jump in front of a train for ya. say when you get back to where you're from. Bad woman, mad woman, that's just what you are. Yeah, you smile on my face and rip the brakes out my car. Gave me all your head and you tossed it in the trash. Tossed it in the trash, yes you did. To give me all your love is all I ever ask. 'Cause what you don't understand is I'll catch a grenade for ya. Alright. Throw my hand on the blade for ya. I jump in front of a train for ya. You know I'd do anything for ya. Oh, I will go through all the pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I will die for you, baby. But you won't do the same. If my body was on fire, ooh, you watch me burn. You said you love me, you're a liar, 'cause you never, ever, ever did, baby. No. But darling, I still catch a grenade for ya. Put my hand on the blade for ya. I jump in front of a train for ya. You know I'd do anything for ya. Oh, I will go through all the pain. Take a bullet straight through my brain. Yes, I would die for you, baby. But you won't do the same.
Wow, that was phenomenal. Oh wow. So how old were you when you first started singing?
I was 3.
3 years old. Wow. Talk about energy.
That was amazing.
So make sure you talk to the camera and the viewers there and let them know,
Tell
you
them
know,
your name
how they can
again,
find
yeah.
you, you know, so they can, you know, look you up. Wow.
I am on YouTube there. You can look up Lil King JCFK.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. As you see, we have wonderful, wonderful talent here. If you think this is something you want to be a part of, make sure you go to our Facebook, look us up. You can inbox me, Charlotte Greer Brown. And thank you again for tuning in.
All right.